is anger, and then there is righteous anger. Peter Finch yelling out the window, "I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore." From Iran, Iraq, and Lebanon, where parts of a whole are coming undone, to Hong Kong, to Puerto Rico, to France and Venezuela, people are mad as hell. Considered Lebanon independent in 1943, but occupied by Syria from 1975 through 2005, and brought into Iran's orbit through the creation of Hezbollah in the early 1980s. The same constellation of politicians have held power since the end of the Civil War in the 1990s. Americans appear to worry most about the security implications of Hezbollah, a U.S. designated terror organization with its own army and drug, weapons, and money racketeering in South America, pulling strings in Beirut, and worry. They worry too about the U.S. armed and trained Lebanese armed forces, the LAF, working alongside and sometimes in cooperation with Hezbollah. Hassan Hassanera calls LAF partner. A partner. But how did Lebanon come to this point? And why are these people angry now? Multi-ethnic or multicultural, Lebanese politics are sliced into sectarian segments. You're Druze or Shiite or Maronite Christian. The government has no national commitments, only confessional ones, which make it easy to set one group against another, leaving the best armed and richest on the top. Example, Hezbollah. That is also a recipe for corruption. Take care of your own, and the devil will take care of the rest. Also, the devil is the rest. Lebanon ranks 147th out of 183 countries in the Transparency International Corruption Index. There are 6 through 7 million Lebanese. Numbers vary widely because there's so many live abroad. Government debt is $89.5 billion, and interest payments consumed 48% of domestic government revenues in 2016 alone. The debt to GDP ratio is 151%, with an annual growth rate of negative 0.2% for just in 2019. The Lebanese pound has lost more than 60% of its value in the recent weeks on the black market. Lebanon has been in a trash crisis since 2015.
Snake of trash.
Municipalities based on sectarian lines are supposed to collect trash, but the central's government payment for collections have been erratic, according to the local sources we've talked to. Unregulated dumps, open burning, trash piling up in the streets and pouring into the Mediterranean Sea have led to health concerns far beyond Lebanon's borders. A wave of forest fires in October of 2019 made things immeasurably worse. The people in the south have an additional problem. Hezbollah has been putting rockets and missiles into their homes and villages for years, planning for the next strike against Israel. The trash, the forest fires were the approximate cause of the protests in Lebanon that began in October, but the real cause appears to be the unwillingness of the Lebanese millennials to be ruled by the corrupt Hezbollah-led regime. Demands for secular government, more services, and the presence of a Lebanese flag rather than the factional banners highlight the protest. The demise of Qasem Soleimani appears to have emboldened the protest, while the government, feeling the heat, has been increasingly brutal. More than 500 people have been injured in the past week, but the protesters appear determined to force a change in government, chanting revolution in the streets. Iran and Iraq, with some differences, are following the Lebanese model with young people and women out in front in Iran, demanding change. Iraqi millennials have been attacking symbols of both their government and the Iranian government. Protests are primarily wrecking the South, Shiite Iraqis demanding the Shiite Iran go home. More than 600 people have been killed. In Iran, protests are just about the drowning of the Ukrainian airliner have become louder, more violent, and more overtly demanding that the mullahs step down. The death toll there is more than 1,000, and the UN says it has evidence that the government issued a shoot-to-kill order. Hong Kong and China, Venezuela's against a stolen election and the impoverishment of their once comfortable and democratic country. In France, Yellow Vests protest against economic conditions. Puerto Ricans against Puerto Ricans? When Hurricane Maria hit the island in 2017, the island was devastated, most particularly in the fragile electrical grid. Rescue and relief efforts were hampered by the terrain, the finances, and, of course, the politics. And a snapping match ensued between President Trump and Roberto Rosella, the governor of Puerto Rico. Almost a year later, 80% of the Puerto Ricans graded the president as fair/poor in his response to the devastation, but 74% rated the Puerto Rican government the same. Rosella was forced by a massive protest to resign. Fast forward to January 2020, and the discovery of that emergency aid from the mainland had been stashed in warehouses and not distributed. The people are in the street again, protesting their government's apparent disdain for them. This time, protesters brought a guillotine. No word on whether it was operational. Righteous anger is truly something to behold. I'm Michael. This is a Patriot Hour. God bless, Godspeed to each and every one of you. Make sure you hit that thumbs up on your way out and share this video. God bless.